Children's Movement for Civic Awareness is an outstanding initiative to inculcate values of democracy and active citizenship in over 300 schools. 19,000 young Indians benefit from this every year. Rahul Dravid is a brand ambassador for CMCA and did this program to help them raise funds.
You're still training?
Not much. So far so good. It's only been a month, but if I keep going on at the rate that I have been going, it won't be long before something's going to start popping up and showing.
The kid bag doesn't call you anymore? It just lies in a corner over there? The bats don't call out to you?
They do. Actually, in fact, I've played a couple of league matches over the last couple of weeks. I played a final of the CMCA league, the Tamil Nadu league, a couple of weeks ago, and played a second division league match over the weekend for my old club. So just going back and trying to play some league cricket, not training, not doing the practice, not doing the warm-up, just playing a little bit in the sense, just one of the things I always wanted to do going back, and I always thought I would, is try and go back and then maybe play some sort of league cricket or lower division league cricket for a couple of years till I can, just so that
Why?
I think it's a great way to...
Why would you want to play lower division league cricket when you've played against the fastest bowlers in the world, the toughest spinners in the world? Why would you want to play lower division cricket?
I just think, I always, grew up and in Karnataka you had people like G.R. Vishwanath and Roger Binney and, Sudhakar Rao and all these people who played well after they'd finished playing for India. And, as a young kid growing up, I played against a lot of them. They were well past their prime, with maybe paunches showing sometimes. But I think it was a huge thrill for me as a youngster to be able to play against these guys, maybe to learn off them, to feed off them. And I thought maybe that's a really good way for me to firstly, I think, be able to go back to the club that from where I started and it, I think nurtured me. But also, I think to be able to, in some ways, play in an environment in which you can maybe, work with a couple of young kids.
But Rahul also said when he retired that maybe he'd now be able to make Vijita a cup of tea every morning. How are you progressing on that front?
It's extremely complicated, Harsha. Have you ever tried it?
Making a cup of tea?
Yeah. Maybe you lived in a hostel. Maybe you're a bit better than me. It's an extremely complicated art. I mean, I'm telling you,
I've got a wife who doesn't like anyone making tea other than herself. So I make coffee, she makes tea.
Yeah, the quality of I think the quality of tea that I produced in the first couple of days hasn't really passed the mark. So I don't think I've been asked to do it again. But I'm getting there. It's a complicated art. I mean, those tea leaves and, just the right amount of milk and stuff. It's not easy.
Finally, the good old guy strategy, right? Just make your tea so badly first couple of times, no one will ask you again.
True.
But I've had the great pleasure of seeing you. 1995 onwards, the Ranji Trophy final, the Test match in '96. You've never thrown a tantrum? You've never thrown things around, never lost it? You haven't in front of the cameras, so... Dressing rooms, are there any dents on the dressing rooms, windows?
Yeah, few bats I have. I've thrown a few bats once in a while.
You've thrown bats?
Yeah, I have. In the privacy of the dressing room, I think I have let myself go a few times. I don't get angry very often, I don't particularly get angry very often. But there have been times when I've been a bit frustrated with myself. I think for maybe playing a bad shot or getting out at the wrong time, and I think have done some damage to some equipment of mine once or twice, in the course of 20 years. I think, you got to give me that and allow me that at least.
Which is nice to know. He's human, which is nice to know. And how do you celebrate? I must share this really. One of my happiest moments in the game was seeing India beat Australia at Adelaide. But I don't normally go into dressing rooms, but I waited for an hour after the game was over, and I found my feet taking me there. And there was Rahul Dravid inside with Ajit Agarkar and VVS Lakshman. And there was something in your hand that I'd never seen before.
We do celebrate. How do we celebrate? I think one of the great joys of playing a team sport, and I think that's been one of the great things for me. And one of the things that always drew me to team sport, even as a young kid growing up, is just that camaraderie and the friendship, and I think these a chance to celebrate victories or to celebrate success with with a group of other people, and I think that's always something that I've enjoyed doing and done. So yeah, I think there have been some big celebrations over the years. Maybe again something that we do quite privately, but I think there have been some big celebrations that I've been part of. Adelaide was one of them. I think.
Was that one of your favorite innings?
Yeah, I think so. I think one of my best, probably in terms of control and in terms of
That's a lovely stroke from Rahul
just the way I played through the innings. I think it was probably one of my best constructed innings. Also considering that Australia scored 550 runs and then we had to go back in. So yes, I think in terms of it was a good batting wicket, and let's be honest, it was a really good batting wicket.
How often have you hit a 6 at 95?
Probably never.
Where? That one?
That was the only one, probably. I think it was, and I didn't even intend it to hit for 6. It just,
I mean, did you suddenly think, I'm Sehwag, all of a sudden?
No. I actually don't. I mean, he bowled short, and I just sort of instinctively went for it. I wasn't even actually thinking. I don't even know, was I batting on 95? I don't know what I was on.
Well, you got 100 with it.
Yeah, I got 100 with it, and I actually didn't. It sort of just happened. And in a way, it's a good thing, because if I sort of thought about it, I might have actually, got out with it. So it was a good thing. It just sort of instinctively happened, and I thought, wow, that's. In fact, when I first hit it, and I, sort of was going in the air, I'm thinking, oh God. I was going straight to the fielder, but I think it was the shorter part of the boundary at Adelaide, and the thing sails over, and you think, oh man, this is fantastic. And yeah, it was I think it's one of those ones which, if you're playing a spinner, I probably will not step out and hit him for 6 going into 100. But with a fast bowler and he bounces, it sort of happens instinctively. So it sort of happened. So it's a good one to have.
VVS Lakshman at the other end. It becomes a bit of a problem for cricket lovers when that happens, because you don't know who's the prettier of the two batsmen.
I think VVS is by a country mile. But I think it's been fantastic to be able to have the sort of privilege to bat with VVS all these years and to share some lovely, wonderful partnerships with him, and that was one of those. So I think in my time playing for Indian cricket, I've been really lucky. I think in the sense that I've had this great opportunity to bat with players like sort of Sachin and Sehwag and Saurabh and Lakshman and Gambhir and sort of Azharuddin early on, and guys who are going to go on to, I think, be regarded as legends of Indian cricket.
Lakshman's your kind of person as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's a good sort of laid-back nice South Indian boy.
Why does the word South Indian, why is it always preceded by good or nice? There's no South, there's good South Indian, always a nice South Indian. Is it because a lot of the CMCA people are good South Indians?
Yeah, we're all good people.
Anyway, do you look at someone like Sehwag and say, hang on, it takes me 5 hours to score 100, and this guy just does it in 2.5 hours?
Many times. Standing at the other end, and like I said, I've had the privilege of batting with some of these guys who've been absolute artists.
You put on 400 together, you and Sehwag?
Yeah, of which he scored 254, I think, and I scored a measly 130. But I remember that actually, in the sense that I think we were four runs away from the record, or I think we were like, we were 410 in that partnership, and I think the world record is 413.
At that time, yeah.
At that time, and it was just 4 runs away from the record, and Sehwag played this uppercut or his uppercut or whatever he calls it, and he got caught behind, and people came later on. I came back to India and said, "What, man? Couldn't you tell Viru to just quietly take 4 singles, and guys would have got the world record, It's a record that hasn't been broken for such a long time," and I said, look, because Viru played the day he did, we actually got to 410. So there's no point asking him to now stop just for 4 runs. So you might as well just let him go. But he's, so I mean, I have looked at a lot of times, look at these guys and say, it must be simple and easy game for them, It looks an easy game for a lot of these guys sometimes. But I have my strengths, and I know what I'm.
One of the things people say about Rahul is that he never said no. If they asked you to open the batting, you said okay. If they asked you to field at short leg, you said okay. Long after it ceased to be a seniority position, you were still in short leg. If they asked you to keep wickets, you said okay. If you'd batted for 7 hours right through the innings and they said 7-minute change over, Rahul, go back and open the batting again, like you did in England, you said okay. Never said no. Because players do say no. I mean, I don't know whether you want to say it, but players do say no, right? Players say, no, I don't want to do that. You never wanted to say, no, I'm not going to keep wickets. No, I'm not going to open the batting. No, I'm not going to field at short leg.
I think that was the beauty of team sport. Like I said, that was, when I said earlier, that's something that's attracted me to team sport. I mean, I think I always wanted to be in the hockey team in school. I was in the cricket team in school.
The hockey team?
I was, I mean, we had a pretty
Where
good
did you
hockey. I used to play centre half and then played right half. We played all the running. But we had a good hockey team in school, and a couple of my school players who I played with school played for India, played the Olympics. So no, I enjoyed playing hockey in school, and I played cricket and played football. So I played team sport, and I think one of the things you learn playing team sport is that I think you've got to sometimes, accept that you can't make everybody happy. You can't always. You've got to try and work in an environment that. One of the challenges for me is that I've always wanted to work in an environment where I could make the team look better or feel better or play better. And I think sometimes you've got to play your part. I mean, a lot of the things I enjoyed doing as well. I think some of the things moving up and down the order I think was good for me. I think that a lot of times, I think when I look at players and a lot of young players today who bat only in one position. For example, say if people only bat at say 6 or 7, 5 and 6 or 7 all the time. Especially in one-day cricket, they're batting only at 5. They're not getting to play enough of the new ball. They're not learning enough of how to bat at the top of the order. And I think that's something that I developed because I batted I opened at times, I batted at 3. So I learned to play the new ball, I learned to adjust, and I batted at 5 and 6 in the one-day games at times. So I learned how to finish games off. It was a different kind of batting. So I think it helped me evolve and grow as a player. This ability to bat at different places. I didn't feel phased, I think, and I think that was one of the great advantages. That early on in my career, I did a lot of different things, and I sort of later on, it didn't really bother me. It almost didn't really matter where I played.
You sometimes sit back and say, "Wow, I'm Rahul Dravid. I've done something in life."
No, I don't.
You're entitled to. I mean, lesser people do.
No, I don't. I mean, I've always. No, I don't. I mean, I don't really. I sort of look. I've always. I think cricket. I think cricket teaches you one of the things. Cricket teaches you that you got to move on very quickly because you might have scored a 270 here, but you still got to start from zero in the next innings.
I can tell you grew up in the wrong city.
No,
if you'd grown up in this city, you wouldn't be saying that.
No, I think it's the sport. I think cricket teaches you got to quickly move on, and you can't. So I've got to move on to different things now. And
So what next? We saw you open the batting in T20 cricket.
Yeah, first figuring out how to make a good cup of tea. That's the starters. That's the first thing. But I don't know, Harsha. Really, I mean, in the sense that I'm going to just take some time off. I've spent a lot of time I've spent sort of 20. If you count the time when I started playing sort of under 15, under 16 cricket, I've spent 25 years in this game. It's completely been it's been my life.
Can a nomad settle down? I mean,
I'm enjoying it. I think in a lot of ways I've always been someone who's enjoyed coming back home and spending a lot of time at home. So I think spending time with sort of my family, wife and kids, I think that's it's going to be an important part of the decision-making process of what I do over definitely the next year and a half. But we'll see. I
must let them into a little secret. When I called Rahul to talk about what we are going to talk about today, he said, "Can I call you back?" I said, "Sure." He was giving both his boys a bath together. And I think he was getting more wet than they were, right?
It's always a challenge. That's one of the challenges that you're learning how to, keep them from fighting with each other in the bathtub and throwing water on each other. It's been great fun. I think it's going to be challenging. I think it's going to be in a challenging phase, obviously, for me, because obviously I've done only one thing all my life. So I think, switch on to something else and to learn how to do something else completely after this is not going to be easy.
You're not going to be a commentator, are you?
I don't know. I really don't know. It's...
No, I'm counting the competition.
No competition for you, Harsha. No, you're 25 years. How many years are you in the business?
Yeah, you had to bring that in.
Yeah.
Right?
So, no, there's no competition. But I don't know. I think it's... We'll see. Maybe might share a box with you. If I didn't probably play cricket at that stage, I might have tried to, I don't know, maybe do an MBA or something. Seems like it's quite a, you've done it, so it seems quite easy.
Okay, there's a lot of questions. You can let some go outside the off-stream gently if you want to. That's fine with us. It's a happy evening. Raghavan says, "We want you to play in the IPL, so the Fair Play Award is always yours."
Can I get the IPL rather than the Fair Play? Can we swap that? I mean, I'd rather like the other one. Sort of end up the bottom of the Fair Play, but win the IPL. That would have been a lot more fun.
A lot of people said that you'd get that Rajasthan Royals would get the Fair Play Award.
Yeah, after some time, we were working hard towards getting it. Go say good evening to all the umpires, good afternoon, sir.
Is that how you get fair play awards?
I wish it was, but
Any plans to coach the Indian team in future?
I don't know. I mean, I've not, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I haven't decided. Who knows what might happen in the future. I don't have the level 1, level 2 or level 3 certificates that people want sometimes, but yeah, I think it's, I think part of the role, a little bit of the role that I did with Rajasthan this year at the IPL was a little more than just leadership or as a player, a little more involved in the coaching and the tactical side of things a little bit. And I quite enjoyed that. So who knows, sometime in the future, maybe something that, might happen.
So if you want a cricketer, what profession would you be in? You couldn't be an actor, we know that now.
No, definitely not. It's a lot of people ask me this question. I really don't know. I mean, I did commerce in college. I mean, if I didn't probably play cricket at that stage, I might have tried to, I don't know, maybe do an MBA or something. It seems like it's quite a, you've done it, so it seems quite easy. No, but
He's a nice guy, right? He's a nice guy. Okay, Dhananjay wants to know, did you ever want to play the switch hit or the scoop or the reverse sweep after all these years in the game?
I played the reverse sweep a few times. I must admit, I did play the reverse sweep a few times, but the scoop never. I've never even dreamt of playing the scoop because I think I value my teeth too much. And after so many years, I'm not going to put my face in any kind of risk with that. It's just not worth it. 4 runs are not worth, getting a fresh pair of teeth. But the switch hit I tried in practice, I must admit, a few times, and just didn't have the power to clear, 25 yards also. So I said, no, this is not going to work.
Fritzy wants to know, when are you going to get on Twitter?
I don't know. I don't understand the medium too much. And with the kind of trouble that it seems to get people in, probably never.
Someone who's not you has got 30,000 followers. And there's now a Twitter website saying,
No, I always wonder, like all these people on Twitter, you're always looking at the screen and always in the blackberry and always, I don't know, I just find the whole thing, I don't know, it sort of just boggles my mind actually. I don't know, someday maybe.
Dear Rahul, I feel a bit like Oprah. With all these good boy questions coming. How can you be so modest as a person, says Praveen Churi. I told you modest was modest.
The moment you accept that you're modest is you're actually not being modest. So better let that one pass.
Who's your favorite Indian sports person outside cricket?
Vishay Anand. I think Vishay Anand is someone I've really I think what he's achieved, I've never been intellectual enough or patient enough to sadly be any level of proficiency in chess, but I mean to sort of see what he's achieved has been staggering over a period of time. I think has been fantastic.
Rahul, thanks for being yourself. Thanks for doing this for CMCA, and thank you everyone for coming and sharing in what CMCA is doing, because we enjoy what they're doing, and I think it's wonderful of Rahul Dravid to take an evening out, come all the way for CMCA.